Stress doesn't go away when you ignore it. You know that feeling. The alarm goes off, your eyes open, and before your feet even touch the floor, your chest already feels heavy. There's a tightness sitting somewhere between your ribs and your throat. You can't name it exactly. It's not one big thing, it's everything: the bills, the deadlines, the conversations you keep replaying, the to do list that never seems to end. And so you do what most of us do: you take a breath, you push it down, you tell yourself, I'm fine, let's just get through today. And you start moving. But here's the thing no one really talks about: that tightness doesn't leave when you push it down, it just goes somewhere deeper. It sits in your shoulders. It hides in your jaw when you clench your teeth at night. It lives in the way your stomach knots up for no clear reason. And slowly, quietly, it starts running your life from underneath the surface. Today, we're going to talk about what actually happens inside your brain and body when you ignore stress. Not to scare you, not to make you feel like you're doing everything wrong, but because I think you deserve to understand what's been happening inside you, and maybe, just maybe, find a gentler way to carry it all. Let's start with something your brain does automatically, without you even realizing it. When something stressful happens, a harsh message from your boss, an argument with someone you love, or even just the weight of 1,000 small things piling up, your brain releases cortisol. Think of cortisol as your body's alarm system. It's not evil, it's not your enemy. In small doses, cortisol is actually helpful. It sharpens your focus, gives you energy, helps you react quickly when something dangerous is happening. The problem is that your brain doesn't always know the difference between a lion chasing you and a passive-aggressive email from a coworker. To your nervous system, stress is stress. And when stress keeps coming, day after day, with no real relief, cortisol just keeps pumping. Now here's where it gets tricky. Most of us don't sit with that cortisol. We don't let ourselves feel it and then release it. Instead, we numb it. And this is where dopamine comes in. Dopamine is your brain's reward chemical. It's the little spark of pleasure you get from something exciting or satisfying. And when you're stressed, your brain starts craving dopamine like a thirsty person craves water. That's why, after a hard day, you find yourself scrolling your phone for 2 hours even though you plan to read. That's why you reach for chips or chocolate even when you're not hungry. That's why you binge a show you don't even care about, or open a shopping app and add things to your cart that you'll never buy. Your brain isn't being weak. It's trying to survive. It's looking for something, anything, to make the cortisol feel quieter, even for a few minutes. And the worst part? It works for a little while. The scrolling feels okay, the snack tastes good, the show distracts you, but then it's over. And the stress is still there. Sometimes it's even bigger now, because you've added guilt on top of it. You think, I wasted my whole evening. I didn't do what I needed to do. What's wrong with me? And the cycle starts again. Stress, numbing, guilt, more stress, more numbing. This is the loop that so many of us are living in, and we don't even realize it because it feels so normal. Everyone around us is doing the same thing. Everyone is tired. Everyone is busy. Everyone is fine. And so we keep going. We keep pushing. But let me tell you what happens when you keep pushing stress down for weeks, months, or even years without ever stopping to deal with it. Your body starts to break down in quiet ways. You get headaches that come from nowhere. Your sleep gets worse. You either can't fall asleep because your mind won't stop racing, or you sleep 10 hours and still wake up exhausted. Your digestion acts up. Your skin breaks out. You catch every cold that goes around the office. You feel tired all the time, not just physically, but emotionally. Like there's a fog between you and the world, and no amount of coffee can burn through it. And emotionally, you start snapping at people you love over tiny things. Your partner leaves a dish in the sink, and suddenly you're furious. A friend cancels plans, and you feel deeply hurt in a way that doesn't quite make sense. You become reactive, irritable, short-tempered. And then you feel terrible about it, because deep down, you know it's not really about the dish or the canceled plans. It's about all the pressure you've been carrying without ever putting it down. This is what cortisol does when it stays elevated for too long. It puts your nervous system into a constant state of low-grade fight or flight. Your brain starts treating everything like a potential threat. You're not just stressed anymore. You're wired. You're on edge. And eventually you start pulling away from the people and things that actually make you feel better because everything feels like too much effort. That text from a friend, you'll reply later. The invitation to go out, you're too tired. The phone call from your mom, you'll call back tomorrow. And slowly, the oxytocin, that warm, connective chemical that flows when we feel close to someone, starts to dry up. You become lonelier. Not because no one cares about you, but because stress has made connection feel like just another task on the list. I want you to sit with that for a moment. Not to feel bad, not to spiral, but just to notice. Because noticing is the first step. And most of us have been so busy surviving that we've forgotten how to notice what's actually happening inside us. So many of us grew up in environments where showing stress was seen as weakness. Don't complain. Other people have it worse. Just push through. And so we learned to swallow our feelings before we even had words for them. We became experts at looking okay, at saying I'm good with a smile that didn't reach our eyes. And we carried that into adulthood, into our jobs, our relationships, our entire lives. We became adults who don't know how to say I'm struggling without feeling like we've failed. But here's something I wish someone had told me a long time ago. Acknowledging stress is not the same as being weak. Feeling overwhelmed is not the same as being broken. And taking a moment to breathe, to pause, to admit that something is heavy, that's not giving up. That's waking up. If you've been feeling this video in your chest a little bit, if something here has been sitting with you while you listen, I'd love to hear about it. You can drop a comment below. Not a long one, just a word or a feeling, or even just the word same. Sometimes knowing that other people feel it too is the beginning of something healing. And if this message feels important to you, hit that like button, not for the algorithm, for the person next to you who might need to hear this today. Now, let's talk about what actually helps. And I want to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you to meditate for an hour every morning, or quit your phone, or wake up at 5 a.m. to journal. Not because those things don't work. They do for some people. But I know that when you're already running on empty, the last thing you need is someone telling you to add 12 more things to your routine. That just creates more pressure, and pressure is what got us here in the first place. So instead, let's start really small, painfully small, because that's where real change lives, in the tiny, almost invisible moments where you choose something different. Here's the first thing. Before you numb, notice. That's it. That's the whole practice. The next time you reach for your phone after a stressful moment, the next time you open the fridge, even though you're not hungry, the next time you start scrolling when you plan to do something else, just pause for 3 seconds. Not to stop yourself, not to judge yourself, just to notice. I'm reaching for this right now. I wonder why. That's it. You don't have to put the phone down. You don't have to close the fridge. Just notice. Because awareness changes everything. Once you can see the pattern, you're no longer trapped inside it. You're standing next to it, watching it. And from that position, you actually have a choice. The second thing is this. Give your stress a voice. Not a big dramatic confession. Not a therapy session. Just a voice. You can write it down on your phone in a note that no one will ever see. You can say it out loud in your car when you're alone. You can whisper it to yourself before you fall asleep. I'm stressed because I feel like I'm not enough. I'm overwhelmed because everything feels urgent and nothing feels manageable. I'm scared because I don't know how long I can keep this up. Whatever it is, say it, or write it, or think it on purpose instead of letting it swirl in the background like noise you've learned to ignore. Because when stress stays unspoken, it grows in the dark. But when you name it even quietly, even just to yourself, it shrinks, not completely, not all at once, but enough to breathe a little easier. The third thing is something your body has been asking for, probably for a long time. Movement, not exercise, not a workout plan, just movement. Stand up and stretch your arms over your head for 10 seconds. Walk around the block once. Shake your hands out like you're trying to flick off water. Put on a song and sway your body for 3 minutes. Your muscles store stress. Your shoulders hold tension. Your hips carry anxiety. And when you move, even gently, even briefly, you give your body a signal that the danger has passed. You tell your nervous system, We're safe now. We can let go. Cortisol doesn't respond well to thoughts, it responds well to motion. So move, not to get fit, not to be productive, just to feel your body again. The fourth thing is about connection, and I know this one is hard. When you're stressed, you want to hide. You want to pull the covers over your head and disappear. You don't want anyone to see you like this. But isolation is cortisol's best friend. The lonelier you get, the more stressed you feel. And the more stressed you feel, the lonelier you become. It's a trap. And the way out isn't grand. It's not a party. It's not a big social event. It's one person, one honest conversation, one moment where you say to someone you trust, I'm having a hard time lately. You don't need advice. You don't need solutions. You just need to be heard. Because when someone truly listens to you, when they don't rush to fix you or minimize your feelings, something beautiful happens in your brain. Oxytocin begins to flow, that warm chemical of trust, of safety, of belonging. It doesn't erase the stress, but it softens it. It makes it feel shared. And shared weight is always lighter than weight carried alone. The fifth thing is about your evenings. And I know everyone's schedule is different, so I won't tell you what time to go to bed. But I will tell you this. The last 90 minutes before sleep matter more than you think. If you spend them on your phone, scrolling through other people's curated lives, watching videos that spike your emotions, or reading work emails that trigger tomorrow's anxiety, your brain doesn't wind down. It revs up. Cortisol stays elevated. Your nervous system stays activated. And then you lie in bed wondering why you can't sleep, why your mind won't stop, why you feel tired but wired at the same time. So try this. In that last window before bed, lower the stimulation. Dim the lights if you can. Put the phone in another room. Not because phones are evil, but because your brain needs to learn that nighttime means rest. Read something gentle. Listen to something slow. Sit in quiet for even 5 minutes. These small signals tell. Your brain, the day is over. You can stand down now. And over time, your sleep gets deeper. Your mornings get lighter. And that heaviness in your chest starts to ease. Not because the problems disappeared, but because your body finally got the rest it's been begging for. The sixth thing I want to share is about serotonin, that steady, quiet chemical that gives you a sense of okayness. Not excitement, not pleasure, just a calm feeling that you're all right, that life is manageable, that you are enough. Serotonin doesn't spike. It builds, and it builds through rhythm, through routine, through the same small acts done gently over and over, waking up around the same time, eating meals that make your body feel good, getting sunlight on your face, even for 5 minutes, spending time with people who don't drain you, doing one thing each day that feels meaningful, even if it's tiny, watering a plant, finishing a chapter, cooking a meal instead of ordering in. These things sound almost too simple to matter, but they matter more than any productivity hack or self-help book because they give your brain a foundation of stability. And when your brain feels stable, stress doesn't hit as hard. It still comes, but it doesn't knock you down the way it used to. Now I want to talk about something that sits at the heart of all of this, something tender. And that's the pressure we put on ourselves to always be okay. We live in a world that rewards performance, that celebrates hustle, that treats rest like laziness and vulnerability like weakness. And so we perform. We perform being fine at work. We perform being happy on social media. We perform being strong for our families. And underneath all that performing, there's a person who is exhausted, who is scared, who just wants someone to say, you don't have to hold it all together right now. So let me say it to you. You don't. You don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to be productive every single day. You don't have to smile when you're falling apart. You are allowed to have hard days. You are allowed to feel overwhelmed. You are allowed to say, this is too much, without it meaning you failed. Because you haven't failed. You've been surviving in a world that doesn't make it easy to be human. And the fact that you're here, watching this, listening, thinking about your own life, that already tells me something about you. It tells me you care about yourself, about how you feel, about doing things differently. And that caring, that's the beginning of everything. Let me share one more thought before we close. There's a belief many of us carry that stress is something to defeat, something to conquer or eliminate. But that's not quite right. Stress is a signal. It's your brain's way of saying something needs attention here. And when you ignore the signal, it doesn't go away. It gets louder. It turns into chronic tension, into sleepless nights, into panic that seems to come from nowhere, into a sadness that settles into your bones and doesn't leave. But when you listen, really listen to what your stress is trying to tell you, something shifts. Maybe it's telling you that you've been doing too much for too long. Maybe it's telling you that a relationship needs honest conversation. Maybe it's telling you that the life you're living doesn't quite match the life you actually want. Those are hard truths, but they're also invitations. Invitations to make small changes, to set one boundary, to ask for help, to let one thing go, to rest without earning it first. You don't have to overhaul your whole life. You just have to start listening, one honest moment at a time. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Stress doesn't disappear because you push it away. It doesn't vanish because you scroll past it, eat over it, or work through it. It softens when you acknowledge it. It loosens when you move your body. It eases when you let someone in. And it transforms when you start treating yourself with the same patience you'd offer a friend who came to you in tears. Your brain is not broken. Your body is not failing you. You are not weak for feeling what you feel. You are human. And being human means sometimes things are heavy, but it also means you have the ability to change, one small choice at a time. If this video found you at the right moment, if something here made you feel a little less alone, I'd be grateful if you'd share it with someone who might need it. Maybe a friend who's been fine for too long. Maybe a sibling who never talks about how they feel. Maybe someone you love who just needs to hear that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. And if you want to keep having conversations like this, honest, gentle, real, consider subscribing. I'll be here whenever you need a reminder that you're not carrying this alone. Take care of yourself today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, even if taking care means doing nothing at all. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop pushing and just let yourself breathe.